Hey friends, it's me, your girl Kristen Denise, also known as KD, here with day 9 of Black History Month. I'm excited yet again because it's me and I'm going to be excited to wear my Africa earrings today to church. I'm Black love all day, every day. I'm ready. I'm in it, okay? But I am super excited about the person I'm going to talk about today. It's going to be another phenomenal Black woman because the Black women be out here killing it. And they have been in the game doing the thing since the beginning of the game, okay? And so I'm really excited to just share. Thank you to everybody who's watched this content, who has enjoyed this content, who's provided positive feedback. I greatly appreciate you. It means the world to me to know that you are experiencing some joy from partaking in this content, okay? Okay. Also, if you are really enjoying it, do me a huge favor. Like, share, and if you're not following me, follow me so I can give you more content, right? So join the team. So now let's jump in, right? Because this woman has done a lot, and I just want to make sure I don't run out of time because sis was out here popping. So today we're talking about Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. She was a poet, an abolitionist, and a suffragist, and she was born in 1825, and she transitioned in 1911. Right? So just a quick overview, because like I said, sis was doing the thing. She was a pioneering poet, abolitionist, suffragist, educator. See a theme here? And one of the first Black women to publish a novel in the United States. How dope is that? She was born free in Baltimore, Maryland, and she was raised by her uncle, the Reverend William Watkins, who was a prominent abolitionist and educator who ran the Watkins Academy for Negro Youth. So her early exposure to activism and education obviously deeply shaped her life and her commitment to racial justice, women's rights, and social reform. She used her literary talents and her oratory skills, because she was out here speaking, okay, to speak against slavery, racial discrimination, and gender inequality. She became a leading voice in the abolitionist movement, advocating for the liberation of both Black people and women, and continued her activism into the period of Reconstruction and Jim Crow. She moved through multiple seasons in the lives of Black America, from enslavement all the way through Jim Crow. Her life is a testament to the power of words as a tool for change. Anybody who knows me knows I am completely on board with that. And the importance of intersectional activism. I tell people all the time, if we make the world a better, safer place for Black women and girls, inherently we will make it a better, safer place for everybody. I stand on that. So let's get into some of Sis's key accomplishments. First, she was the first Black woman to publish a short story, which she did in 1859. The story was called The Two Offers, and it was published in the Anglo-African magazine, making her the first Black woman to publish a short story in the United States. The narrative delved into themes of women's autonomy, education, and moral integrity, and it contrasted the lives of two women, one who chose marriage for security, and another one who pursued education and independence. And so this story actually takes on an early exploration of Black feminist thought, highlighting the importance of women's choice and agency, right? So if that wasn't enough, she was a prolific poet and author, and she used her literature as activism. So her poetry and essays tackled topics such as slavery, racial injustice, and women's rights, and reached a very diverse audience, making her one of the most popular Black writers of the 19th century. Get it, sis? Her major works include Poems on Miscellaneous Subjects, which was published in 1854, and the collection included her famous anti-slavery poem, Bury Me in a Free Land, which expressed her desire to never be buried in a country where people were still enslaved. Stand on business. Iola Leroy, or Shadows Uplifted, which was published in 1892, and was one of the first novels published by a Black woman, and it addressed themes of racial passing, Reconstruction, and the struggle of Black families in post-Civil War America. And then also there were Sketches of Southern Life, which was published in 1872, and was a collection of poems written in Black vernacular. Some people will call it Ebonics nowadays, but it captured the experiences of newly freed African Americans during Reconstruction. Her writing connected her literary artistry with activism, and she used storytelling and poetry to raise awareness about racial and gender oppression. And her accessible style and poignant messages made her a beloved figure across racial and gender lines, which is super significant based on the topics that she was covering. It would make sense that she would have a lot of opposition, but her familiarity and the comfort people have with the way that she spoke in her writing made her actually very dearly loved. And again, one of the most popular writers and speakers of the 19th century. Get this. She was also an abolitionist speaker and an Underground Railroad activist. Right. She was an active member of the abolitionist movement, giving powerful speeches across the country and working with figures like Frederick Douglass and William Steele. She assisted those who had self-emancipated. Hello? Those who had escaped enslavement by helping them to freedom, using her connections and resources to shelter and to guide them. She also traveled very extensively, speaking against slavery and raising funds for the abolitionist cause, often addressing integrated audiences, which is a huge deal in the 1800s, especially for her as a Black woman, and was definitely a bold act to speak to these integrated audiences as a Black woman in a world overcome by widespread segregation. In one of her famous speeches, "We Are All Bound Up Together," which she delivered in 1866 at the National Women's Rights Convention, she highlighted the intersection of race and gender oppression, making a powerful case for Black women's inclusion in the suffrage movement, and made the quote, "If there is any class of people who need to be lifted out of their airy nothings and selfishness, it's the women of America." Tell the truth, shame the devil. She was also the co-founder of the National Association of Colored Women, NACW, which was founded in 1896. She co-founded it alongside leaders like Harriet Tubman and Ida B. Wells Barnett. It was established to address both the racial and gender inequalities, promote education, economic empowerment, and civil rights for Black women. She served as the vice president, where she continued to fight for the rights of women's suffrage, temperance, and social reforms. And the organization's motto was "Lifting as We Climb," and it reflected Harper's belief in collective progress and community uplift. This woman did everything. And then finally, she was an advocate for Reconstruction and racial justice post-Civil War. She remained active in Reconstruction efforts and advocating for education and land rights for freed African Americans. She traveled throughout the South teaching newly freed African Americans and documenting the harsh realities of life after slavery during the period of Reconstruction. And she also fought against Jim Crow laws and racial violence, emphasizing the importance of political engagement and education for Black communities. So she did a lot. And what can we learn from her and still apply today? Number one is to remember that words have power and can be tools for social change. She believed in the transformative power of literature, poetry, and public speaking to challenge injustice and inspire action. We have to remember that our voices, whether through writing, speaking, or art, can be powerful tools for activism because stories have the ability to shift perspectives, build empathy, and spark change. And we can do this today by using our talents to amplify marginalized voices. Remember, we don't give people voice. People have voices. Everybody's just not listening. So we can amplify marginalized voices, raise awareness about social issues, and advocate for justice always. Whether it's through social media, blogs, poetry, or public speaking, our words can make an impact. Two, we need to remember that intersectionality matters, and we need to focus on fighting for justice at all fronts. She was a pioneer of intersectional activism, fighting for both racial equality and women's rights. She recognized that Black women faced a unique challenge that needed to be addressed within both the abolitionist and the feminist movement, and we still do today. This is a reminder that effective activism requires addressing multiple forms of oppression simultaneously. It can't be like, focus on this and then we'll do that. Or no, we need to address all of this because it's having a huge impact on some of us, like me. It's not enough to fight for racial justice without considering gender, economic, and social inequalities. And we can do this by supporting movements and organizations that are intersectional in their approach, ensuring that the voices of Black women and other marginalized groups are at the center of social justice efforts. Collective uplift is still significant. Harper believed that individual success should be tied to community uplift. Her activism was grounded in the idea that progress isn't just about personal achievement. It's about bringing others along with you. This is a reminder that true success isn't just about reaching your goals, but about helping others rise with you along the way. And her motto of "Lifting as We Climb" encourages us to build networks of support, mentorship, and community empowerment. And as always, resilience and persistence in the face of injustice. Social justice is a lifelong journey. We pushing, okay? And not just for us, but for everybody who finds themselves on the wrong side of being marginalized, okay? And we have to remember to not give up and to keep pressing until the end, until we get the society that we desire and that we deserve. So that is our girl who I'm just super excited to share with you today. Miss Frances Watkins, she did that. Now you go do it too. Happy Black History Month.